I'm Shannon.
And I'm Holly, and this is the Girls Gone Curious podcast, where we talk about things that make us curious. So grab your favorite drink, sit back, and relax, because your show is loading. Today's episode includes the following trigger warnings: mentioning topics of stalking, asphyxiation, loss of lives by arson, suicide, bodily harm, and murder. This podcast is not suitable for children. Please listen with care. We do apologize if we say any of the names or places wrong in today's cases. This week's true crime episode landed on family murders. So let's get into it.
When to serve and protect turns into obsession and murder. This is the case of the Winek family. The Wineks moved to the Price Court subdivision in the Riverside, California area in 2000. Mark Winek was a 69-year-old man who was also a husband, father, and grandfather. He was a beloved baseball and softball coach to Arlington High School. Everyone loved him and said he was always there for the students, the athletes, his family, his friends, and his neighbors. He would occasionally reach out to some of his athletes that had gone on to college to see how they were doing. He would help neighbors out by mowing their lawns, even if he wasn't asked. He just wanted to help people. Sherry Winek was a 65-year-old woman who was also a wife, a mother, and a grandmother. Sherry was the ultimate baker. Everyone loved her brownies. She was mentioned as being the most giving person you could ever meet. She loved her family more than anything. Sherry and Mark had two daughters, Brooke and Michelle. Brooke was 38 and was honestly so happy with her life of being a single mom. Brooke had two daughters. She was extremely proud of both of her girls. Her girls' names have been left out due to privacy reasons, so for this case, the daughters' names are Jade and Ivy. Jade had joined the color guard at Arlington High School. And that is the most information I could find on her daughters. It is November 25th, 2022, the day after Thanksgiving. The Winek family hadn't woken up yet for the day, probably sleeping off the effects of the turkey. That morning at 6:58 a.m., a neighbor noticed a red Kia parked in the driveway. This was odd because they had never seen this vehicle in the area before. A man gets out of the vehicle wearing a tan trench coat, mask, and a fedora. He was carrying a duffel bag and plastic bags. The neighbor observed the individual as he walked around the area for a bit. He went back to his Kia and then repeated the steps again, twice. He would then leave. The neighbor called the sheriff's department to report the suspicious person to the police. The police took note of the vehicle's plate number and all other information from the neighbor. Unfortunately, there wasn't anything more that they could do at this point. 2 hours later, at 9 a.m., Sherry would open the door to a detective standing at the door. He said he needed to speak to them and showed them his badge. He said that he needed to talk to her granddaughter, Jade, immediately. Sherry and Mark asked what this was in regards to, and the detective claimed something happened near the school and he needed to talk to Jade alone, and he would then interview each of them separately. Sherry explained to the officer that her daughters and granddaughters were not home, that they had gone out for the morning. The detective told her it was urgent. He spoke to Jade immediately. So Sherry would call her daughter Michelle to see where she was. Sherry sounded frazzled during the conversation, saying that there was a detective in her home. He was there to talk to Jade. Sherry had asked the detective if it would be okay for Brooke to drop off her other granddaughter, Ivy, at her Aunt Michelle's house before Jade was brought home. He said yes. While on the call, Michelle had heard the detective explain that everything would be okay, and this was just routine. She also heard him say that he would have to search Jade's room, the one that has the Green Bay Packers memorabilia. Michelle thought, how the hell did the detective know what the inside of the house looked like? She was on edge even more now. Sherry told her daughter she would have to call her back, and that was the last time she talked to her mom. Brooke and Jade arrived back at home. She told her daughter to stay in the car like the detective had asked, and headed inside her home to meet up with her parents. Jade would begin to get too hot sitting in the car. She would take off her shoes and get out of the car. She would just hang out for a minute or two and then decided to go inside. As soon as Jade opened the door, she saw that her grandmother had been tied up and a plastic bag was tied around her head and neck. Before she could process what was going on, the detective would come into the entryway, point a gun at her, and tell her to go get in the car. Neighbors noticed this unknown man walking with a distressed girl who had no shoes on. He motioned for her to get in the back seat on the passenger side. He put his duffel bag in the back seat on the driver's side and got in the car and drove off. One of the neighbors said it looked like Jade had been mouthing the words, "Help me." 11:08 a.m. Several calls came into the Riverside Police Department asking to do a welfare check on the home that Jade lived in. They explained the scene and the police responded. After those calls were answered, several more calls would come in about a house on fire in Price Court. It was the Winek home. Michelle began calling her family after receiving messages from her parents' neighbors. No one was answering, so she headed to her parents' house. Firefighters and police made it to the Winek home. Upon entry to the home, they could see that Mark, Sherry, and Brooke were all bound, gagged, and had plastic bags tied around their heads. It was also evident that the fire had been started on purpose. Michelle got there after her family had been removed from the home. Police asked her to follow them to the police station. She explained to them about the detective that was in her parents' home earlier that morning. This detective was now on the run with his victim, Jade. Police began the hunt for the red Kia and luckily had the license plate number from the neighbor that had called earlier that morning. Who the hell was this detective? Austin Lee Edwards was a 28-year-old police officer who lived in Virginia. He had a girlfriend and they had been together for 5 years. Edwards and his girlfriend were celebrating Thanksgiving together with her parents in San Diego, and then he decided to start packing up his stuff to leave. He didn't say anything to his girlfriend except that he had to leave for work because he realized he ran out of vacation time.
How the fuck do you not know you ran out of vacation time?
Yeah. And he just chose that exact moment. I think he probably realized how close they were to her house.
Bullshit.
Yeah. He said he needed to drive back to Virginia that day. His girlfriend said that didn't make sense, but didn't say anything more because he looked determined. So you're just going to leave your girlfriend? I mean, we all know this is a lie, but you're just going to leave your girlfriend in California and drive back to Virginia without her? She was worried when he hadn't responded to her texts or calls, so she ended up filing a missing persons report. Later on, she would realize she had been dating a predator. Police caught up to the red Kia as Edwards was heading into Kelso. Side note, Kelso is close to 3 hours northeast of Riverside. So potentially he was heading back to Virginia with Jade. Edwards pulled over, opened the door, and began shooting at the officers, both on the ground and in the air. Police began shooting at Edwards. Jade was able to escape and took off running towards the police. Edwards would then turn the gun on himself and end his life. Side note, some sources said that Edwards was killed by the shots fired by police, but more of the sources said he had killed himself. Jade was taken into protective custody before she would begin the lengthy process of questioning. Jade and Ivy would go through counseling, and a GoFundMe was started for them, which raised over $100,000. This would be split between the two of them. The money doesn't mean that much when you have had your family members taken from you, but sometime in the future, the money will be beneficial to them. So how did a 28-year-old man who lived in Virginia get in touch with a teenage girl that lived in California? Edwards had connected with Jade on a chat site called Omegle. Jade had been honest with her age of 13. Edwards was not honest and said he was 17.
Shocker.
Yeah. They talked for a while and then he began asking for nude photographs of her. Jade stopped talking to him after that. During the investigation, police found that Edwards became obsessed with Jade. He would create several accounts to try to get back in touch with her. She would continue to block him. He sent her messages like no one will stop us from being together. There were over 1 million pages of messages between the two that they needed to go through.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it's a lot. Somewhere in all of this, Edwards had found out Jade's address, and his idea to abduct her began. After the story broke of the abduction of Jade and the murder of her family, a woman who lived in Washington was looking through social media and stumbled upon this story. She had her own story about Edwards. She would contact the police and explain that she also met Edwards the same way Jade did. The individual was 13 years old and Edwards was 20. Now 21, the woman told police that she had over 4,000 messages still that she could share with them. He groomed her, harassed her, stalked her, and would talk about hurting himself if she didn't do the things he wanted. He at one point told her to kill her mom for not letting her go on Skype. One direct message stated, "Listen, there's no obstacle that's going to stop us from being together if that's what we both want. It doesn't even matter if you're 14. She would cut ties with him, and he would continue to pursue conversations with her. 2 weeks after she told him she didn't want anything to do with him, he threatened to kill himself and his dad. His dad called the police, and upon arrival, they saw that Edwards was being restrained by his dad. The dad had bite marks up and down both of his arms.
By Edward?
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah. Edwards would get arrested and taken to a hospital. Edwards was still continuing to harass the woman from Washington with many different accounts until the day she turned 18.
Oh.
Police couldn't say if he abruptly stopped because she turned 18 or if it was because he had found Jade. The timeline seems to fit the latter option.
It's both.
Yeah, it's both. The doctor reported that Edwards was a danger to himself. When Edwards went to court for his actions on the assault against his dad, he was stripped of his rights to purchase or carry a firearm. The judge stated that because of the actions Edwards took, there was a great threat and that he would hurt himself or someone else in the future. So in Virginia, state law prohibits anyone who is held on a temporary detention order and then admitted to a treatment facility is not allowed to purchase a gun or have a gun until there has been a court order giving back that right. Edwards decided he wanted to go to the police academy. He didn't pass the psych eval, but was still allowed to go through it.
How the fuck does that work?
And he still has not gotten a court order to get a gun back. And he goes to the police academy.
And he gets a gun there, probably.
Yes, through that whole process.
Oh my god.
The courts took away his gun rights, and he was still accepted into the academy. Michelle and her family want answers as to why this happened. Edwards was a criminal, a predator, a murderer, and yet he was still pushed through everything, and records or testing was buried so that he could be an officer. Why? Side note, he wasn't a murderer that we know of anyways at the time that he went through the police academy, but he was definitely a predator.
And at the time that he had the court order with his father, right?
Yeah.
They didn't know he was a murderer yet.
Right.
Okay.
The police department was silent for some time regarding that question and finally answered with human error as the reason Edwards was able to be pushed through. No shit.
Oh my god.
They stated that if they had known his history, he wouldn't have been hired.
How the fuck do you not know a person's history?
Exactly. Especially him failing the psych eval. Like, his medical history might not be provided as far as, like, the stay in the hospital, but he failed the psych eval. You can, I'm pretty sure the police get notified or the court sends out notifications of individuals who aren't allowed to have a gun.
I think they're just making an excuse.
I agree. Michelle and her family have filed an intent to sue against police departments involved in Edward's hiring. Due to the hiring process flaws that allowed someone who failed a psych eval and wasn't able to legally have a gun was in fact a police officer and had a gun. The lawsuit states that the police departments were acting negligent, gross negligent, negligent in the hiring process, gross negligent in the hiring process, breach of mandatory duties, and violation of Virginia state law. The family's damages exceed $100 million. Edwards is dead, but investigators are still searching through his phone, laptop, and past to try to piece together everything that has happened. No new information has been released at this time. However, I just want to reiterate that for the one known, out of the two known victims, there's 1,004,000 pages of messages that they have to go through. And this was from 2022. So I'm assuming that's a lot.
They're probably still going through it.
Yeah. And that's just from the two victim sides. That doesn't even include what's on his laptops or computers, phones. Who knows what he's been doing.
Who else was he talking to?
Right.
And all that shit.
Right. A side note, the autopsies revealed that Mark had been killed first, then Sherry, and then Brooke. Brooke fought hard against the killer, and her body showed that. The detectives believe that is why her throat was slit, and her parents' were not. All three had died of asphyxiation. 3 of their 4 dogs and 1 bird were killed in the house fire. The 4th dog survived due to being in the backyard. The dog was taken to a local animal rescue until a home could be found. I hope a family member was able to take the pup in. I know they have to go through the whole process of everything, but I hope that he went with someone. I don't even know if it was a he. I just said he, but I hope the puppy went with someone
that they know.
Yeah.
And that it's a good home.
Yeah. So thoughts and questions. One of the biggest things was better screening process for police academy and police stations. I don't necessarily know if they need a better screening process or if they just need to screen. Yeah, I think they need to actually screen. I think that's the key.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Actually look into someone.
Yeah, like actually do
your job. Yeah. Fuck. How the fuck? I'm just blown away by the fact that he was still allowed to be a police officer.
Yeah.
The thing is, there's no way that all that shit would be hidden.
No, and the thing I keep thinking of is, so most courts went through the e-file system starting back in 2016, 15, something like that. So everything is e-filed. But even before everything started being e-filed, paper copy, it gets scanned in.
Yeah.
One document has at least gone through at least 4 sets of eyeballs have looked at that document. And it was all just pushed through. It just doesn't make sense to me. Because you have the judge who's seen it. Well, obviously the judge created, or, you have the clerks who created the order, the judges who signed the order. Then it gets processed back through. It gets scanned in, all the fun, fancy stuff. And then it gets sent to the sheriff's department. And then from there, that gets distributed. And however many more eyes are seen at the police station. I don't know how that process works as far as, like, do they get a report, like, once a month of, like, new people that are now allowed to have a gun? Or is it just when they do, like, random traffic stops, things like that? And since Edwards was already pretty much going to be on that list, I don't know if that, like, they already knew. I don't know. Regardless of any of those instances or excuses, to me it seems very sad that it seems like there was no screening done at all, except to push it through. And I looked at the picture of the graduating class. There was a lot of people, so I don't see why him in particular was pushed through.
Yeah.
There is an officer that stated that that Edwards moved too quickly through everything, and he was amazed at how quickly he jumped from one to the other with the police departments, and how he was able to make it into the police academy and go from there. And
Was he a big ass kisser?
I don't know. He said that he used his dad and like close friends. So I don't know if he used that as like, hey, you know my dad, you know my
Yeah.
best friend is so and so.
So-and-so.
He says I'm a good guy, so I'm a good guy. Put me in. Let
But the thing
me go through.
That shouldn't.
Agreed.
I'm just stuck on the fact that this probably could have been prevented, but
Absolutely.
I mean, he might have still stalked Jade and
Yeah.
however many countless,
Mhm.
but at least he wouldn't have been a police and
Right. Can you imagine? That's probably how he might have found her address that way. Like if she gave him her real name, and
Yeah.
he could have found her that way.
Mm-hmm.
Truthfully, I mean, you can go to any public search website online, honestly, and find us.
Yeah. And she could have had certain informations in her bio
Mm-hmm.
on Omegle, I think that's
Yeah.
what you said.
I can't remember. Which one.
Omegle,
Yeah.
whatever it's fucking called.
Mm-hmm.
But she could have had stuff in her bio, and that could have gave hints to where she was
Yeah.
living, and all you have to do is plug it in.
Mm-hmm.
And she was 13, correct?
Yeah. And it's not just to say that that was the only form of communication that they were doing.
Yeah.
They could have given each other their phone numbers by then, or
Mhm.
social media,
Yeah.
whichever.
There's plenty of other talking sites too.
Yeah. And another thought is, I'm not putting any blame on parents,
Yeah.
but parents need to do a better job at monitoring their children's online activity.
Mhm.
Not necessarily what they are doing, but who is trying to connect with the child or children.
What type of sites they're getting on?
Right.
Like if they're getting on sites like Omegle or
Right.
whatever, however you pronounce
Right.
it, I would be concerned about that. She's
Right.
only 13.
Yeah.
There's plenty of people that will prey on.
Mm-hmm. Especially, even though you think it's... I'm only laughing because stupidity, but we were in chat rooms when I was in
Mhm.
high school, and we did the whole ASL, and
I was in chat rooms when I was in middle school.
so it was like a lot of us kids were really stupid. Like,
Yeah.
who's to say that we weren't talking with 50-year-old people?
I'm
when
pretty
we
sure
were...
at one point I probably was.
Yeah. So
And
it's
it's
like,
disgusting.
and that was at school. Like, that was at school. We were learning that at school. But, so, that kind of stuff.
Well, it's just like one of my exes, they talked to me on texting, but
Mhm.
he would often get in trouble and get his phone taken away.
Mm-hmm.
And this was back when messages, there wasn't unlimited. There was,
right, yeah.
you had a certain amount
Mhm.
every month
yeah.
or week or whatever.
Yeah, and free talking after 9 p.m. or
Yeah.
something like that. Yeah.
And he would either get his phone taken away or
Mhm.
that would be taken away. Like, he
Mhm.
won't be able to message anyone.
Mm.
But the thing is, he would get on, like, his iPad, or if he still had his phone, just go on, I think it was, like, Me Chat or something like
Yeah.
that.
Mm-hmm.
And he would just message me off there. And it's
Yeah.
like, it's fucking ridiculous.
For every app that is taken down, another 3 pop up. So it's just
Yeah,
like...
it's endless.
Mm-hmm. Putting restrictions on, whether it be parental blockers or whatever, something on there.
Yeah, there's no blame on anyone.
No, it's just that parents definitely need to do a better job at monitoring what's going on. And like I said, not necessarily because of what the children are doing, but because predators are in there too. So
Well,
who's trying to talk to your kid?
Well, the thing is, it's also, there was a thing with Roblox, and I've seen multiple commercials about Roblox, and they say, get a hold of this number if your child was...
Right.
And it's like, Jesus fucking Christ.
I can't remember what it was, or I've heard so many of them, but there was one instance where in Roblox there was like people having sex on the beach or something like that, and I guess it was showing everything, and I'm like, it's a kid's game, right? Like, what the fuck is that?
It's supposed to be.
Yeah, it's absolutely ridiculous. I don't understand.
And
truly don't understand.
People doing that are older pieces of shit that are preying on
male and female.
Yes, all around.
Yep.
Male, female, they, them, it, she, her. All of the above.
Right.
There's no one category.
Besides piece of shit, they all fall under that.
Yeah, piece of shit, bitch, asshole. That's what they are. We kind of went on a sidetrack.
Yeah, we kind of went off there a little bit, but that's fine. And the last thought or comment that I had, Price Court, which is the subdivision area where the family lived, was changed to Winek Court in remembrance of the Winek family.
That's horrible.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not horrible that they changed the name, but
right,
I'm
but
saying the case is horrible. I'm just blown away about how he even became a police in the first place.
And I truly don't know, I mean, unless he had... It's like a lot of the cases that we have where in plain sight, like, it's hidden in plain sight. So are people not looking, or like, oh man, that person would never have done that. Yeah. Well, actually, there was this and that and the other. And all I keep thinking about was his victims, not just the Winek family, but the other victims that are known of and not known of, and including his girlfriend. To find out that your boyfriend that probably planning on marrying, I'm assuming, been together 5 years, doing the whole family thing.
Yeah. Has been preying on
children.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Do you have any questions?
Not really.
Or additional comments?
Except for the one, like, what the fuck?
Yeah. That pretty much sums it up pretty well.
The only thing I really wrote down was investigator, suspicious. Is he actually a police? But like, he kind of answered all those. So
yeah, unfortunately, he really was a police officer.
Oh, that's fucking shitty. Don't you need a warrant to search someone's house if they say you can't search it?
Yes.
I can't. I'm not placing blame on anything. It's just like, you just let this cop into your house? I mean, maybe he was nice and stuff, but at the same time...
So, Michelle, the daughter, had explained to the police that there is no way her mom would have let anybody into the house, regardless of who it is, unless it was someone that they really knew or an officer. And that since he provided
evidence or
his name, his badge, and since he had authority, she thought it would be okay, so she let them come in. But he wasn't.
I understand that.
Searching the house, he was supposedly wanting to question her for something that supposedly happened by the school. But he knew what her bedroom looked like, and that she was a fan of Green Bay Packers. So she had to have given him pictures of, or they went on Skype or something like that to where, or FaceTimed or anything like that to where he saw her bedroom.
Yeah, something obviously. Or if she has like an Instagram or something.
Yeah, true. Yeah, he could have.
Instagram, Facebook. Because I mean,
he could have looked up that information.
I mean, I was a girl and I posted pictures in my bedroom on Facebook and all that. So, yeah, it's horrible.
Agreed.
The thing I I would have asked for details on like why
Mm-hmm.
you need to speak to Jade.
Right.
She's only 13.
Mm-hmm.
I need to know before you talk to her because she's only fucking 13.
Yeah.
But him saying not specifying
Mm-hmm.
is suspicious.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like you're not coming into my house until you tell me what's going on, and you can talk to my child with me present.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I say I would do, but I'm not in that situation. I hope to never have to be in that situation.
Right.
I hope no one else has to be in that situation, but unfortunately, the world is the world.
Yeah. Michelle did also explain that to please use her family as an example of not to place blame or anything of that nature, but as a teaching tool for parents and children to understand the dangers of online everything.
Family is supposed to be a place and people that you can turn to when you're in need. People who are supposed to trust and love you unconditionally. When your children get older, they usually eventually move out and have a family of their own. And however far they move, their parents or guardians are still always there if they are needed. But what happens when a child turns on his family, killing them in cold blood? This is the case of the Brom family murders. Bernard Brom was born on August 13th, 1946, and Paulette Brom was born on September 12th, 1946. When they were both at the age of 25, they met in college, eventually falling in love and starting their own family. They both were from Catholic families, and they were both leaders in a marriage counseling program. Spending a lot of time in church, Paulette worked there as a director of the preschool there. But her all-time dream job was to be a stay-at-home mom. She had a love for children, and at the birth of their first kid, she would become a stay-at-home mom. When Bernard wasn't at church or at home spending time with family, he worked at IBM, which I think is a tech company.
Yeah, that's a big one.
Joseph, also known as Joe Brom, was born on June 24th, 1969. This would be Bernard's and Paulette's first kid. It is believed that he was the black sheep of the family. He dyed his hair black and listened to punk rock music, often getting into arguments with his parents about what he should and shouldn't do, causing him to move out of the house pretty much as soon as he graduated high school, moving into a house of a family friend. David Brom was born on October 3rd, 1971. He was close with Joe, so he took it hard when he moved out. David started taking after Joe, listening to the same things and wanting to do the same things that Joe did. Basically, David looked up to Joe. His parents wouldn't agree with everything David wanted to do, causing arguments. Sometime in 1987, David tried to commit suicide twice, but this wouldn't come out until later. Diane Brom was born on April 10th, 1974. She loved sewing, basketball, cheerleading, and playing the piano. Her friends and families would describe her as a beautiful girl with freckles and a shy smile. Richard, also known as Ricky Brom, was born on July 25th, 1976. He loved to watch football games with his grandfather, and often rode his bike and played computer games. This family seemed like a normal family, spending time at church and at home doing activities together. They owned a nice house in Olmsted County, Rochester, Minnesota. Besides the regular family arguments, nothing seemed wrong. But with every true crime case, the inevitable happens.
And if it wouldn't have happened, they wouldn't be on our podcast. The story wouldn't be on our podcast.
If true crime didn't happen, this podcast probably wouldn't exist.
Exactly.
I mean, it might exist. It'd be just chats
Yeah.
and Reddits all the time.
Lots of swearing and caffeine.
And
what
alcohol.
Drives us? And alcohol. What drives us?
And this is pretty much all I could find on the family. They were kind of very close-knit and didn't share very much. It was also the 1980s, too.
Oh, okay.
It started with an argument between David and his father, Bernard, on Wednesday, February 17th, 1988. When only David showed up the next day at school, February 18th, bragging to his friends about what he did, the school would ask for a welfare check on the Brom home. At 5:23 p.m., officers were dispatched to the Brom home. Sheriff Kevin Torgerson was one of the first ones on the scene, just a little before 6 p.m. The first thing he noticed was fresh car tracks in the snow. Following them, it led to the garage, where the ground was wet and there was wet boot prints. And there was also the light on in the garage as well.
Oh.
Meaning someone was there not too long before he got there. The door was closed, but it wasn't locked. I mean, it was the 1980s. Not a lot of people locked their door.
Right.
So, walking into the house, nothing seemed really noticeable at first. The only thing that looked messy was the bathroom. There was black box dye and hair shavings covering the bathroom. Reaching the top of the stairs, Kevin, the sheriff, noticed 2 sets of bare feet. 2 female bodies laying in the hallway, dead. In the master bedroom, an older male was found kneeling down by the bed, with one hand on the bed and his head slumped over. In another room, there was a young male laying in his bed, still clutching a blanket. This would be Bernard, Paulette, Diane, and Ricky. They would be already in rigor mortis, meaning by the time that they were found, it had been 12 hours since their death. All the bodies had large, massive gashes on their heads and upper body. In the basement, a bloody 28-inch axe was found, it being the murder weapon. In total, there were 56 chop wounds covering their bodies. Paulette had been hit at least 5 times. Diane was hit at least 8 times. Ricky was hit at least 9 times, including a slash across his neck after death. And Bernard was hit with the axe at least 22 times.
Jesus Christ.
And those numbers don't all add up to 56, because those are the for sure amount. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you can get what I'm saying.
Yeah. You don't know where the other...
Yeah, where the other ones were.
Yeah.
At first, they believed David could possibly be kidnapped, but would eventually put it together that he was a suspect, not a victim. One of David's friends was interviewed by the police. The friend that went to the school administration, telling them about what David told them. When interviewed, she would tell police that she was worried for the Brom family, which is why she went to the administration. David told her in detail what he did, how he killed his family. That day, even though David was spotted at school, he never actually attended classes. He tried to get her to skip school with him, but she never did. And it was probably good that she never did.
Yeah.
She told police that David told her, "I hit my dad with an axe. I kept hitting him, and my dad kept getting up." The whole time of events would go like this. After the fight with his father, which is rumored to be about a music tape his father didn't want him listening to, David stayed up all night and into the morning of Thursday, February 18th. From 1:30 a.m. to 3 a.m., David began planning the brutal murders of his own family. Going into the master bedroom, he started with his father, then moving on to his mother. After believing that they were dead, he would move to his brother's room and kill Ricky in his bed while he was sleeping. In the hallway, Diane would come out of her room because of the noise. She would witness her mother crawling on the floor out into the hallway, trying to get away. This is when David would kill his sister and finish off his mother. The axe used in the murders were confirmed to be Bernard's, and all of their DNA was found on the axe as well, including David's fingerprints. Taking the family van, David would go to school, but never attend class. With the help of tips from the community, police were able to track where David went. After leaving the school, he would go to Cutsey Park, Barlow Foods, Kmart, Godfather's Pizza, and then finally back home for a brief period. And I do want to add, during this brief period is when police believed he dyed his hair and shaved the sides of his hair to change his appearance.
Mm-hmm.
Around noon of that day, he also stopped at the IBM credit union to withdraw $250. I don't know if that's before or after going on his adventure.
Okay.
I'm assuming before, because you
Mhm.
probably needed money to buy.
The box dye and all the
Yeah,
other things.
That's what I would assume. Sometime between 6 p.m. to 11 p.m., a former teacher saw David at Northgate Shopping Center. At 11 p.m., the family van was found at the Methodist Hospital, but he was nowhere in sight. Following the trail of concerning calls and tips, the police were searching all night, but never getting to the places he's been sighted at until too late, meaning he was already gone by the time they got there. There was a tip that he spent the night in a culvert in an industrial area northwest of Rochester. Friday the 19th at 8:30 a.m., David was spotted on a payphone near the Valley High Post Office. Police were able to get everyone out of the area before arresting him while he was still on the phone. He was alone and didn't resist at all. I have no idea who he was on the phone with.
That's what I was going to ask.
It's like, I have no idea.
Yeah.
I couldn't find it anywhere. He would be charged with 4 counts of first-degree murder and 8 counts of second-degree murder. David was ordered to undergo a psych eval and to be held at the county jail under 24-hour watch. After the 24-hour watch, he was sent to undergo a week's worth of psych evaluation. March 11th, he was moved to Red Wing Juvenile Correction Facility to be with people his own age. April 22nd, the judge ruled that Brom was to be tried as a juvenile. The judge didn't necessarily agree with it, but they had to because it was the law.
Mm-hmm.
On the bulletin poll, 78% of people didn't agree with this. June 22nd, Minnesota County Attorneys Association filed a friend of the court error in the judge's rule of David being tried as a juvenile. August 11th, a panel of 3 judges listened to arguments to determine whether to sentence him as an adult or as a juvenile. They had 90 days to issue a decision, and on October 18th, 1988, it was ruled to try him as an adult. The defense would try to appeal, which ended in a unanimous ruling for him to be tried as an adult. January 25th, 1989, David's bail was set at $500,000. David pleaded not guilty by reasons of mental illness. His trial began on September 19th, 1989. 9 women and 6 men sat on the jury. The trial would happen in 2 different phases. The first determining if it was first-degree or second-degree murder. After 4 hours of deliberation, David was found guilty of 4 counts of first-degree murder. The second phase would be determining if he was mentally competent or not. The defense psychiatrist side would claim that David didn't know right from wrong at the time of the crime, saying that he suffered from progressive depression and it had been building up over time. He believed that David had multiple personalities or alter egos. The psychiatrist would say that during the crime he was suffering from an episode, even though the psychiatrist never saw one of his alter egos or other personalities. He was just going off what POS was saying.
Yeah.
The rest of the psychiatrist would say that although he did have some sort of mental illness, he was mentally competent. So the mental illness was tossed aside, and he was guilty in the first degree. I do want to say there was 4 other psychiatrists. 2 of them had no opinion on this. And then another 2 said that basically what I said is that he does have some sort of mental illness, but it wasn't affected. He knew right from wrong.
Right.
David was sentenced 3 consecutive life sentences for his parents' and brother's death. Then he was also sentenced 1 concurrent sentence for his sister's death that would take place during his last consecutive sentence. David's earliest release day would be in 2041 at the age of 70. Because I believe in Minnesota it was a life sentence. In his case was 17 and a half years, I believe.
Oh.
His sentence started at St. Cloud, and eventually he was moved to Minnesota Correctional Facility in Stillwater. Now for the fucking bullshit. In 2023, a new law passed, reducing David's minimum term. The new law prohibits juveniles to getting life in prison without the possibility of parole. All adults who were sentenced to a life sentence when they were young are eligible for parole after 15 years. Earlier this year, 2025, David went before the parole board. He claims he has changed and apologized for what he did. He also talked about what he was going through at that time. And for the first time, he gave a little bit of a motive. He would say that he did it because he was depressed. His thoughts and actions were clouded. He didn't have the ability to process things and thought it would last forever, meaning the way his family was treating him and how they were always arguing he thought would last forever. That he was depressed more at home, so the right idea was to get rid of his family, I guess. Meaning he was depressed at home, but then like at school he wasn't as depressed, apparently. July 29th, 2025, at the age of 53, David was released from prison. He was released to the Twin City halfway house and currently is in a work release program. While he is on probation, he has supervision and an ankle monitor. He is due to go before the parole board again in January of 2026, where he could possibly be released into the community.
Lovely.
So I have a couple mentionings. On February 21st, 1988, a funeral was held for Bernard, Paulette, Diane, and Ricky at a Catholic church. Over 1,200 people attended. The Brom home was granted to be sold by the judge, being worth $120,000. It was auctioned and sold on June 4th, 1988 for $80,000. Who the fuck would buy a house?
Yeah, no thank you.
Joe Brom was looked into in the beginning, but they didn't find anything that pointed towards him being involved. He was working when the police found him and told him his family was dead. On January 5th, 2016, Joe died from cancer. I believe he went to college and got his master's and a bunch of other stuff, and I think he was a professor for a while, so he did have a full life, but sadly he died from cancer. So I watched the video of him talking before the parole board, and to me, it didn't seem like he felt bad or had remorse for what he did. In the video, it just seemed like he was only sad for what he caused the other people to feel. Basically, he didn't necessarily apologize for what he'd done. He apologized for how he's making other people feel. And it's bullshit.
Agreed.
He even referred to his family members by their name, not his family.
He didn't say my mother, my father.
My brother and my sister.
Yeah.
He said their name. He said Bernard, Paulette, Diane, and Ricky. I believe he said Richard. I can't remember. He said Ricky or Richard. One of those. It also seemed like it was very rehearsed.
Yeah, it for sure did.
He made sure to apologize to his living family and friends and the police and basically everyone involved he apologized to. And it just, to me, it just
didn't sound sincere at all.
No. And to think that this coming January he's
possibly done.
He could disappear off the map. He could disappear off the map and go and kill people. He could. I really hope what he said is true and that he did change. And I hope that he doesn't commit this crime again.
Agreed.
Or any other crime.
So the questions that I have is, So I was kind of wondering if possibility, like maybe the phone call was fake. Like he knew the police were onto him. He wasn't going to get away.
Mhm.
So he pretended to make a phone call because he knew the police were following him.
It could have been.
But judging by all the other actions I don't believe that was the case. But it was just a thought that popped into my head. Another, I guess that wasn't a question. That was more like anyways. Why would he get to serve concurrently for his sister's life that he stole? That pisses me off. Why does he get to serve concurrently? He should have to serve consecutively for each person that he killed.
To me, that makes it seem like her death was less of important as the other deaths.
Right.
The only thing I seen on that was that the judge could have possibly felt bad for David, so he gave one sentence concurrently.
That just enrages me even more. Like, that's just ridiculous. So it's a new law that came in where for a life sentence for 15 years.
Mm-hmm.
So one life sentence equals 15 years. That's the way it reads.
Yeah. Well,
but he killed 4 people. So technically he should get 60 years.
Mm-hmm.
Going by that law. And he did not even get that.
And the thing is about this law is it is for every single person. Yeah. It doesn't matter what the case is.
Yeah.
You can be a sex offender, you can be a murderer, you can be all of the above. If you got sentenced when you were a juvenile as an adult and got a life sentence without parole, then after serving 15 years, So
after serving 15 years regardless.
And he served, I don't know how long, he served like 30 or something.
Yeah, 37 years so far.
Yeah. So he automatically got to go to the parole board. It fucking pisses me off.
Yeah. Going by how that read, it seemed like it would be where he would get 60 years.
Yeah.
But the way, it definitely doesn't seem like that's what he's getting, for sure. Yeah. Not if he's being able to be released next year.
Yeah. So to me, what I'm taking from this is it doesn't matter how many life sentences you have. Mm-hmm. It doesn't matter how bad the crime was. It doesn't matter about anything. If you were sentenced when you were a juvenile and you got life with no parole, then 15 years you can get out. To me, that's what it seems like.
Sense. Yeah. Yeah.
And the person who passed this law talked about on this case, and they were like, yeah, this is the point. This is what was supposed to happen. And it's like this axe murderer, not just like a regular murder.
Yeah.
I mean, murders aren't regular.
Right.
I'm just like, he brutally killed his family with an axe. Mm-hmm. And he's okay, yeah.
Yeah, you should just get 15 years. It's fine.
Yeah, it's fine.
You can get out when you're, I don't know how old he was. I don't remember how old he was at the time.
He's 53.
53.
Right now, I think. So he should be 53. Now he's going to be 54 in January.
Another thing was, he said in his so-called apology that part of the motive was his ability to process things was not there. But he was able to process the fact that he had killed his family, went to school, and bragged about it to his friends.
Yep.
So he couldn't process what he'd done, but he went to school and bragged about it.
Mm-hmm.
Bullshit. You knew exactly what you were doing. And I'm glad that the mental illness was thrown out. Like, they were not going to allow that defense, because what a bunch of shit.
Yeah. And the thing is, he killed his family, went out, went to school,
Mm-hmm.
took money out of probably one of his parents' account, probably
Yeah.
his dad's,
Yeah.
and went and spent it, went shopping, went and changed his hair,
Mhm.
went and shaved half
Yeah.
his hair, and
Grab some pizza.
grabbed some pizza, went to Kmart.
Mm-hmm. He had a good day.
Yeah, he had a good day.
Yeah,
You're telling me this dude didn't know what he was doing?
Yeah. I don't buy it for a second.
I think he was planning on ditching town,
Mm-hmm.
but the police were on to him too fast. His problem was he bragged to it about friends, and those friends weren't close enough to keep his secret.
Mm-hmm. Or if they were like, nah, man, I ain't keeping that shit.
Mm-hmm. Which I am glad a friend finally told someone.
Yeah.
I don't know how many times people, like, these friends would, oh yeah, they talked about killing their family this many times, and
but nothing.
But didn't think about telling anyone.
Yeah.
It is also said that his friends and people in the community were half and half. They're like, yeah, he confessed to me about killing his family, and he showed signs or whatever, and then the other half is like, he was such a nice kid, he could never do this, and he's the type of kid that would come around your house, rake your leaves, and take care of stuff in your yard, ask if you need help without even asking for money, and if you gave him money, he wouldn't take it, and it's just like, eye roll.
Yeah. Mega eye roll.
Patty Price was Diane's friend in school, and she said David was like a brother to her, even better than her actual brothers and stuff like that. And she said her mom, the way her mom broke her news to her, her mom was on the phone, got the call, got off the phone, went to Diane and said, I don't know how to tell you this, but your friend is dead.
What the fuck?
How?
I mean, I guess she really didn't know how to tell her, but...
And then Patty said she went through a bunch of mental stuff because of it. Because, I mean...
Yeah.
She's, I think, 13? I don't... Let me look. Diane was 13, so Patty had to be around that age.
Yeah. That's a lot for a kid to
And
deal with. Shit, it's a lot for an adult to deal with, let alone a kid.
But she said she had a lot of problems because of that, had mental illness, and went into anorexia and a bunch of other stuff. And anytime she would try to bring up Diane's death or the family death, everyone would tell her to not talk about it.
Man, that pisses me off. Like,
and
like counseling and stuff wasn't even probably thought of or talked about at that time.
Yeah, no. And she actually became a psychiatrist.
Love that for her.
Yeah. But the only problem I have is she's part of the... I don't think he could have ever done this and all of that. At least that's the way it seemed when I was watching the videos.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah. She said that she talks to him when he was in jail all the time, sending him letters and stuff, and she's tried to get him to talk about the murders, but he doesn't. And then she's like, one day I'm gonna go see him. And
better make sure there's no axes around.
Yeah. Well, this was when he was in jail. I mean, can you shove an axe up your asshole?
That is... The only thing I can think of is why she is doing that is to build a rapport with him, and then maybe she can get the answers from him. I don't know. It just doesn't make any sense to me. And I know some people don't make sense to me, honestly.
All of the above doesn't make sense to me.
The last thought I had was, so they auctioned off the family home. Did it say if Joe got the money from the home? Because he's the only surviving member.
It didn't say.
And I would think he should have. He probably was like, I don't want the house. I don't want anything, which I totally understand. I wouldn't want it either. Who would buy that? Like we said earlier. But he should have got the money. He was the only living heir. Yeah. But I don't know how that happened during,
I don't know. It never went into specifics who got the money. I don't know if it was Joe, which I would assume would be Joe because he's the living...
Yeah, the living heir.
The living heir. And, I mean, their grandparents were still alive, I believe, still. Yeah. So his grandparents were still alive, so I don't know exactly how that went. But they did have $50,000 in life insurance.
Okay.
And I think it's about $40,000 in valuables.
Oh, okay.
So yeah. I don't know exactly where that all went. But who the fuck is buying a house that people got butchered in?
Yeah. Oh, whole family was murdered in. But, I mean, look at literally all of the cases that we have had murders in it. And honestly, one of the biggest ones I can think of off the top of my head is, well, I don't know if it was purchased, but it, for lack of better terms, it was purchased and now like a museum, but the Lizzie Borden house.
Yeah. Or like, I mean, we haven't done a case on this, but Ed Gein, his house, I believe, was destroyed. I believe. I don't think it's standing anymore. I think the community got together and decided to.
That was probably a good idea.
Yeah.
To destroy it.
Ed Gein's house was destroyed by a fire in March of 1958. After his arrest. And he only... I mean, this is totally side, but I just watched a podcast on Ed Gein, and he only killed 2 people. You want to guess where he got the rest of the body parts?
Like the morgue?
From a graveyard. You dig them up.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
So why wasn't he caught soon? Okay, I'm gonna go.
Yeah. Also another side thing about Ed Gein is the movie on Netflix severely dramatized Ed Gein. They stuck to some facts, but some other facts aren't true in it. So don't take that series for
what it actually.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Do the actual research. Don't
use Netflix as your research.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah. Interesting.
So all your questions and mentionings?
Yeah, I don't have it. That was the last thing I had.
Yeah. Both of these cases
piss me off.
Yeah. There's he was able to become a police officer when he didn't pass the psych eval and wasn't allowed to carry a gun, but he was still allowed to carry a gun.
Right.
And he became a fucking police officer. And then you got this. He doesn't even serve his full sentence.
Yeah.
He's out on parole right now. And next year, he's probably going to be out in the community doing whatever the fuck he decides to do.
Yeah.
I hope that he truly did change and he does not commit any more crimes.
Yeah.
I know he's not the worst murderer out there.
Right.
And the possibility of more people like him getting out.
Yeah. At least in that state.
Yeah, in Minnesota. Guess where I'm not moving to? Minnesota or California.
Right.
Or Virginia, because that's where... You know what? I'm just going to stay in the state I'm in.
Right. Sounds good. Sounds good.
Oh, fuck. A little preview. This month there is going to be quite a few different things. It's going to be different from our regular murder mystery, Reddit, or just chats. So stay tuned to find out. And just like Halloween, we do have a Christmas special.
Heck yeah, we do.
Whoop whoop. Comment if you have any ideas of what you want us to talk about for Christmas. Dun-dun-dun. And on our YouTube and our links, there is a form you can fill out that includes cases, episode ideas, Reddit categories, suggestions, and just chat questions.
Our hearts go out to the victims in these cases and all individuals affected. With that is all we have for today. Thank you for listening. If you have any questions or comments, you can find us on Spotify, YouTube, and Instagram at Girls Gone Curious Podcast. Until next time.